Here's a question I get often. What's one of the first steps as a federal employee I should make as I start my career or as I start to take my finances seriously? To me, taking your finances seriously should happen very early on in your career. But the idea of that actually happening and actually being something that people do isn't really something that people do. I wish people started off on the right foot, but they don't always. Now, if you're young and you're starting off the right foot, congratulations, I'm proud of you. But if you're later in your career and you're just now starting to take your finances seriously and the money that you're investing and the money that you're spending, I'm proud of you too, because any time that you decide to make a change in your life for the better, that's awesome, no matter what age you are. So today I'm going to talk about, one thing that I think federal employees should do and should be the first step when they decide to take their finances seriously or decide, to start their career. How do you decide what to do first? Because there's all of these financial planning ideas, all of these federal benefits and retirement, all these people telling you things to do. It can really overcomplicate things when in reality, you just need to stick to the basics first and build that foundation, and then you can go from there. So what's one of the first things you should do? What should be the first thing that you decide to do to better your financial life, to start your career, to change your current situation? The first thing that you should do is start an emergency fund. Now I know what you're thinking, an emergency fund? An emergency fund? That's no fun. I want to gain interest on my money. I don't want it to just sit somewhere. I want to earn something with it. Well, the problem is, if you just put it in something that you're going to earn with and don't have anything for disasters, you're going to face a problem when a disaster does come. Because if there's one thing in this life I can guarantee you, it's that disaster will come eventually. Nobody's exempt from it. And if you're not prepared for it, it will knock you to your knees. Where in reality, if you have money saved up to take care of medical expenses, to take care of the unexpected things, you're going to be in a much better position. So the next question inevitably is, how do I start an emergency fund? What do I put it in? How much do I do with it? What is an emergency fund? Those are good questions. Let's talk about them. An emergency fund is simple in reality. It doesn't need to be as complicated as people make it, but people like to make things complicated. Really, all you need to do is add up 3 to 6 months worth of expenses and put it into a savings account or a money market account that's easily accessible. You want something that's highly liquid. The reason you want something liquid means it's easy to access, easy to withdraw money from. Something that's illiquid, for example, would be your TSP account. One reason that it's considered illiquid is because it would take you too long to take a withdrawal from. We want something that technically, in reality, you could probably get a checkbook out of. So you could write a check from, something quick like that. Now, how do you start the emergency fund? Because that's the next question you're going to ask is, how do I go from not having anything in savings, anything to protect me, to having 3 to 6 months worth of expenses before? Because some of you, that's going to be quite a bit. That's going to be, $20,000, $30,000 for some of you, maybe even more. And so having that in place when you don't have any in place currently, that's going to be a little bit difficult. Now, the way you start building that account is simple. Do everything you can to get $1,000 into that account. That's your first goal. That's your only goal, is to get $1,000 into that emergency account, also known as, I like to call it a rainy day fund, because a rainy day is going to come and you're going to need money to help you overcome that rainy day. Now, why $1,000? $1,000 is something that should be attainable for nearly everyone to save. And I'm saying do everything you can to get that $1,000. So stop eating out, have a garage sale, do everything you can to get some money in place. That way you feel protected, and then you build upon that. You start with the little things and you do little things at a time. You get those little wins, and over time you look back and you have one big win. So the big win would be to have 3 to 6 months worth of expenses in your emergency account. It would be to have a $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 in your TSP account. It would be to have 30 years of service. It would be able to retire comfortably. That's the big goal. Okay, but we got to start with the small ones, and your smallest goal, your first goal, should be to start with $1,000 in your emergency fund. Once you have that $1,000, then you can move on to the 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. But you need that $1,000 first. Make that first and foremost. Even, I would say, even before you even invest in the TSP. Why? Because the TSP is going to be very hard to withdraw from, whereas with the $1,000 in the emergency account, one, it's not going to take you very long, and two, you can withdraw from it very easily. So this has been Cooper with FedRetirementPlanning.com. If you haven't visited the site yet, click up here, find the site, subscribe to the newsletter, subscribe to the channel. I know it's going to help you. Take control of your retirement today. Nobody's going to do your planning for you unless you hire them. Nobody's going to help you. Okay, so take control today so that you can retire in the future where you want to retire and how you want to retire.